Every year, right before the NBA season starts, a bunch of NBA rookie extensions get signed. Young players that have proven themselves to be a legit foundational piece usually get extended, while young players who have not usually don't. These extension deals often tend to be controversial, as fans usually will debate whether a player has gotten overpaid or not. So in this video, we're going to grade all of the recent rookie extensions that got signed. But before we continue, if you like content like this, please like the video as it really encourages the YouTube algorithm to recommend it to more people, and please subscribe as it really helps my channel grow. Now let's get started. The first rookie extension we're going to talk about is Kyle Kuzma. The Lakers extended Kuzma to a 3-year, $40 million extension, with the third year being a player option. I'm going to give this move an A for the Lakers. Kuzma may not ever be the all-star that some fans thought he would be after a strong rookie year, but he's emerged as a solid role player for the Lakers. He gives them a decent scorer to come off the bench. Yes, he only averaged about 13 points per game this year, but his numbers were bound to decrease after the addition of Anthony Davis and LeBron. Kuzma is a legit shot creator and shooter for the Lakers, and in the bubble, he emerged as a solid defender that can defend multiple positions. Plus, he's still only 25, so there's a good chance that he'll continue to improve and get better. Because $13 million a year is pretty cheap for a good bench piece, this is an A grade for the Lakers. Next, we're going to talk Jonathan Isaac. Isaac was given a 4-year, $80 million extension. I hate to be mean to the Magic fans, but this move is going to get a D for me. Now, Jonathan Isaac has potential to be a great player. Already at such a young age, he's a great defender when healthy. He can legitimately guard 1 through 5, and he can protect the rim at a high level. With his defensive tools, Isaac can be Defensive Player of the Year one day. Offensively, he's a solid 3-point shooter, and he's become someone that can make plays off the dribble. So, if I think so highly of Isaac, why did I give this move such a low grade? Well, that's because Isaac is incredibly injury prone. He's coming off a torn ACL, meaning he's going to miss all of next season. And even before that, he was already very injury prone, only playing in 27 games his first year in the league. $20 million a year for a player who's coming off a devastating injury and is always hurt seems like a massive risk. Now, I understand that for the Magic, Isaac is their most promising young player, so they want to bank on his success. That's understandable, but they're taking a massive gamble because if Isaac can never get healthy, then a huge chunk of their cap space will be wasted on a very injury-prone player for the next 4 years. Next, let's look at his teammate Markelle Fultz, who signed a 3-year, $50 million extension with the Magic, which amounts to about $16 million a year. I like this deal much more, which is why I'm going to give it a B. Fultz may have had a rough start to his NBA career, in large part due to injury, but he has completely revitalized himself in Orlando. After putting up poor numbers his first couple of years in the league, Fultz averaged a solid 12 points and 5 assists per game for Orlando on 46% shooting from the field. Fultz is really good at driving to the basket and finishing thanks in large part to his quickness and athleticism. Fultz is also a pretty solid playmaker. He's got good court vision, so when he draws to help defense, he knows how to find the wide open man. He's even gotten better as a shooter. Now, Fultz still can't hit the 3, as he only shot 27% from 3 this year, but he's a solid mid-range shooter, and he's improved quite a lot at the free throw line, going from 73% this year up from 53% over his 2 years in Philly. Overall, Fultz has really turned his career around and become a solid point guard, which is a big W for the Orlando Magic. And he's still only 22 years old, which would suggest that he still has the upside to keep improving. Now, will he ever live up to that #1 pick potential? Who knows? But with this extension, the Magic lock up their point guard of the future to a reasonable deal. As a result, this is why I give them a grade of a B. The next move I'm going to talk about is the 4-year, $73 million extension that the Spurs signed Derrick White to. And this move, I give a B+. Now, to the casual NBA fan, $18 million a year for White sounds like an overpay, but he's well worth that price. Derrick White is very good on both ends of the floor. Defensively, White is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, often tasked with guarding the other team's best player. He led all point guards in the NBA in total blocks, averaging nearly a block a game, which shows how good of a defender he is. And at 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, he can guard multiple positions. Offensively, he brings everything you need from a modern point guard. He can attack the basket and finish at the rim. He's a good playmaker, and he's also a pretty good shooter. White's numbers were modest this year, but that was in large part due to the limited opportunities due to how deep the Spurs were this year. He only averaged about 25 minutes a game. The Spurs already have two stars in LA and DeRozan, who take a lot of shots a game, and the Spurs also have another promising young guard in DeJounte Murray. With more minutes and opportunities, White will blossom. It was only 2 years ago that White scored 36 points in a playoff game against the Denver Nuggets. He's arguably the most promising young player on the team. Locking him down to a 4-year, $73 million deal was a good move by the Spurs. Next, let's look at the 4 years, $62 million deal that the Clippers signed Luke Kennard to, which amounts to about $15 million a season. I give this extension a B because Kennard is a nice role player to play alongside Kawhi and Paul George. Kennard is an excellent outside shooter. Last year, he averaged about 16 points per game while shooting 40% from deep. So Kennard is a key player that will help to space the floor for the Clippers star duo. Furthermore, Kennard is also a solid playmaker as he was averaging 4 assists per game last season. This is a contract that could backfire though with how injury prone Kennard is. He only played in 28 games this year due to knee problems and just 63 games last year. If Kennard can't stay healthy in the playoffs, then this deal will be a bad investment. But because he's a good fit on the court, I give this deal a B. And finally, the last deal I'm going to talk about is the 4-year, $72 million extension the Raptors signed OG Anunoby to, which I'm going to give an A. If you only look at his stats, you'll likely think this is an overpay, but if you look at the impact that OG has on both ends for Toronto, you realize that this is a good deal for them. For starters, he's a good part of the Raptors defense that ranked second in the league last year. Thanks to his great physical tools at 6'7" with a 7'2" wingspan, along with great athleticism, he can play lockdown defense on the other team's best player. Offensively, Anunoby is an excellent three-point shooter as he shot 39% from 3 last year. But he's not a one-dimensional offensive player because thanks to his solid handle, he can break down defenders and score at the rim with a high level of accuracy. This deal isn't just a great move because he's a good 3-and-D player, but also because at just 23 years old, Anunoby has potential to be an all-star, which would make $18 million a year for him an absolute bargain. Anyway, guys, that's all the rookie extension signings. Do you agree with these grades? How would you have done it differently? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like and sub and enjoy the rest of your day.